Hello and welcome back to Captain of Industry. So the iron mine, the second iron mine, has now been fully depleted. We are busy filling that in and digging out this little bit here just as quickly as we can. Oh, you're going over there. That's interesting. Do you not have rock as a dumping in your thing? Yes, you do not. Let's add rock to both of these. And if they are somewhere they are digging and dumping, they can just drop it straight in there rather than driving over there. Okay, there's that sorted. This we can probably delete at some point, but whilst we're working around here, we'll leave that going. So we got the... Oh my word, the frame rate is abysmal today. We've got the second nuclear reactor up and running. That is looking okay now. I think what I might do over here is I might put this over here. Build that. Not enough unity to build that because we are running out of unity. Let's go over to the captain's office and bring something down a little bit. Let's do the water one. Let's drop one of those off. That should give us a little bit of unity, hopefully. I said that'll give us a little bit of unity, hopefully. There we go. It's given us a tiny little bit. Let's also drop the recycling efficiency down as well. Okay, so when we can finally build this, or unless someone else comes to build it, we will delete this pipe. We will put an alert on this to tell us if this is less than 75% full. Because if it is less than, well, no, we're supposed to have to just keep an eye on it. Because it might be that it can just push water out faster, but as long as... No, yeah, that's what we want. We want that to be empty. We want to know if it is filling up. That's what we want to know. Right, we have enough unity to do that, so let's do that, and then let's delete this pipe. And then we'll allow that to empty out there, and then if this one starts filling up, so let's change that, notify me if you are 50% full. If that starts filling up, that means that these cannot get rid of their water fast enough, and that means we have a problem. But right now, everything looks okay. So these ones, only one of these is turning, that is absolutely fine. Most of these are turning, and that is absolutely fine. So we should be... So you should be losing water now? Yes, you are. Okay, that's good. That's what we want to see. We should be in a position where we can start deleting this in a minute and claiming that space back, and not enough unity for what? Ooh, probably for something important. The limestone quarry. It's not as important as it was, so let's just leave that at that for the moment. Over here we have some new refugees that joined. They brought us nothingness. You found some more electronics, whoopity-doo. The ship is back over there. We need to send you somewhere. Let's go over there, get that one sorted. Thank you very much. You went into battle and you won because you're a legend. Right, we're running out of unity all over the place now. What's affecting our unity so much? I mean, having the limestone quarry going probably isn't helping. That's 1.6 unity as it stands. What we could do is, because we know we've got a lot of limestones, we could just drop that down so it halves the unity requirements. That will help a little bit. In the meantime, we need glass. That is what we need. We need glass. So I think it's time to get one of these up and running as well. For that, we need to get all of these up and running. And we probably need to do like a small redesign somewhere. Because what are you for? Oh, you're for the stuff they output, but they don't do that anymore. So we don't need you and we don't need you. Which means we don't need that belt underneath there. So let's get rid of that. That fed back into there, but we don't need it anymore. And then if we just take one of... Oh, we're going to have things in the way all over the shop, aren't we? Yeah. It might be easiest just to delete those in the short term and then bring them back afterwards. I think that's what we will probably do. So let's just come over to here. Come over to about here-ish. Just delete all of those. It should be easy enough to figure out which ones need to get rid of. I do need more unity for this. So let's pop over here because I do want to be able to do these things quite quickly. Let's drop that one down. Let's drop that one down. Let's drop that one down as well. That should get us a good chunk of unity to be doing stuff with. Glass is the thing that's holding us up. That's what's stopping a lot of things from currently working. And I would like things to be working, ideally. I don't have the 3, 5. Why has that gone down again? I just disabled so many things. It's probably because like this is kicked back in. Let's just pause this. I don't really care about that at the moment. Okay, so that's all gone. So let's get this. 1, 2, 3. Nope, we moved one by accident. 3, 4, and then they can be moved because they are nowhere near central to that. Well, I say nowhere near. They weren't far off. I don't think they can go quite central. So if we do them there, and then these two will move over a tile, just so we have a space for pillars and everything. That probably makes sense. And then you need to connect to there, you need to connect to there, you need to connect to there, and you need to connect to there. And then we don't want you or you. We want you to connect to the great exhaust pipe, which is up there. So let's bring this up to height 5, bring that to there, bring that to, which is the new one? Which is the new one? It's the one on the right, isn't it? So let's bring that to there, and then connect that to there. They kick out 36 each, so that will need to be a Mark II. Thank you. And then this one, we will just connect up to this, up about there. Okay, cool. And then we want you connected back into there. That's fine, you don't want to go straight, whatever. You connected to there. You connected to there, but you can't figure out a way of doing it at the moment. What height are you at? 4, 5, 5. Oh, now you can, for some reason, figure out a way. Okay. It's all a bit messy, but that's not the end of the world. And we want you to go to there. Okay, so that's all the bits we need. I would like those bits to be done very quickly. Not necessarily that bit, but okay, that's fine. And then we can start building this. You have belts most of the way. You don't have... We didn't even need that one. Okay. And you are trying to get rid of slag, which is... If we go from like here over to here, flip that, and we can delete that bit and that bit. That should be fine there. Okay, so then if we get these bits built, and this bit built, and this bit built, and can we get this one built, and this, and this, and this, and this? What are you? Coal. You are supposed to be coal. Oh, you are connected to a belt. Okay. So let's get you and you and you built, and you built. So then we should start seeing stuff coming down those belts, which we're not at the moment, which makes me think there's a bit that is missing somewhere. So it's getting to there, but not coming down there. Why is that? Ah, because you're paused. Okay, let's unpause you. And you. You are coming here, but not going down here. Is that because you're paused? You are also paused. Okay, there we go. What are you supposed to be that has nothing on you? So we've got sand, we've got limestone, salt. Where is the salt bucket? It is over there. So let's grab this. Connect that to there. Build that. How much salt do you need? Only 12, so that should be absolutely fine. You need to be upgraded. So you should be Mark II all the way back. Perfect. Okay, we're getting there. We're also going to need to connect these over here. These produce 24 each. So call that 50, call that 100. That's going to need to be upgraded. And then we're going to connect this in over here. Why are these one further? And then could I get a Mark I belt from somewhere? Yep, just there. Perfect. And then you into there. Okay, so we also have a bunch of workers that have come in now as well. That's great. So let's get this and this built, which means we're going to need this and this and this and this and this. And then we've got a fair bit of unity, so can we just do all of those and all of those? Not quite. That's fine. We're going to turn off the truck deliveries. We do not want trucks delivering there. Please and thank you. Why? There's one tiny little bit that's not built down there. Okay. And then do we want to get glass down there? We're not too worried because there's not a lot in those buckets. If one of these fills up, then we will think about maybe trying to get that belted down here as well, but that should be enough to cover it on its own. Okay, what have we got here? Truck struggling to find a destination. I think that's you were probably trying to get to the stuff I've just turned off. You have a low supply of iron ore. You actually do. Not a lot I can do about that. I could take a second, because I can't upgrade that belt anymore. I could take a second feed off of this and belt that over there, but we'll just see how that goes, I suppose. It definitely does not seem to be keeping up with demand. And that's because we have absolutely zero iron coming in from the old system now. We could delete that belt. I'm going to leave it for the minute. We have a low supply of plastic over here. Yes, we do. I thought I increased the plastic production. I did. This is struggling to get in here. This is full. So is that just that we need more plastic? Does that need to be a Mark II belt? How much plastic do you use? 12, 24, 48 is all you use there. So you should be having plenty coming in. The plastic does go up here as well. Go in there, but there's not a lot of use there. So if you're only using 48, there's no reason that shouldn't be filling up. It might just be that was taken over. We had a bit of a backlog, maybe. A low supply of electronics. Yes, that is still the case. Yeah. You take 48, so that belt needs to be upgraded. Otherwise the copper can't get out of there fast enough to get down to you. So let's fix that little problem. Wonderful. That should help the production of that a little bit. Whether it's enough to get that filling up, I don't know. But maintenance is okay, and that's what we really care about at the moment. This one was due to the PCBs, I think. That should be resolved now. We have got these largely built. We are starting to produce glass, which means this is all belted up correctly, so that's lovely to see. This is full. We're going to put an alert on this to tell us if it is less than 50% full, because that means we're using more than we're producing, although I think I did put an alert up there as well, so maybe that's not the end of the world. Naphtha is getting quite high, but we have quite a lot of these unpaused. So I don't know if that's a concern. I think it's more just because everything's filled up, which isn't the end of the world, if we're being honest. Isn't the end of the world. This is doing pretty good. We've got lots of sour water in store. That's absolutely fine. Glass should be making its way over here now. Yes, it is. So we're making more of the rocking chairs, the household goods. So we should start to see these storages hopefully starting to back up a bit. How much are we using? 61 and 41. We are making 48 of those, and we are making 62 of those. So we are going to need another one of these sooner rather than later. So let's get that done whilst we are here. Which probably means that needs to be upgraded, so let's get that done. How much do you use? 16, 32, 40. So yeah, single belts will still be fine for all of that. Let's get that built. Let's get that running. So we are that's just gonna make sure we've got enough going forward. We are low on workers again. Let's adopt some willing participants to come to our island. We do have lots of housing space. It is because we are once again going through a bit of a health crisis. We have a deadly flu. I was going to call it a fuel. A deadly flu going on. We do now have glass going in. We do now have morphine being produced. Finally, that's going to go over there. in the end, eventually, it's just starting to get there now, and we'll actually start making medical 2 again. Medical 3, sorry. We are making 48, and we need 41, so that's just about enough. Oh my word. That flu has absolutely devastated us. Absolutely devastated us. Okay. Any of these take workers? I don't think they do. You do. We can pause you. I don't know if we're going to get... we don't really need you because you're empty. If I pause you, is that a problem? Do you just not accept new goods? And let's pause you as well. My word, that is a harsh, harsh epidemic. Really could do with you working, but you don't have enough workers to go either. This is going to start causing us some massive, massive, massive problems soon. What can I pause? What can I pause? I don't really know. We just need more workers. That's what we need. Is there any? I can get like 20 from there, 1 from there, 1 from there. I think there was one other one. Was there one other one I could adopt from? And is it a level thing that determines if I can adopt? I don't know. I thought there were 4 I could adopt from, but is it just those 3? Yeah. Okay. Okay. Let's go and take out... Oh, no, hang on. Stop that a second. Whilst we are still paused. You have got 130 people. Was I too late? I was too late. Darn it. Okay. Let's pause you. That's 36 workers. We really need the iron. We can pause the luxury goods. We can pause these 2. This I don't think is massive at the moment, and we can pause that. It's not the end of the world if we don't have those. Oh my word, we're on minus 300. That is insane. Concrete is just for construction parts, so let's pause that. Let's pause all of our construction part production. I'd rather leave those going if we can. We can pause those. We can pause those. We can pause those. Can't really pause the vehicle parts because we sort of need those. We can pause the vehicle parts Mark 3. We can pause those 2 because they're just making the servers. Everything else we sort of need, really. Okay, well, we're down to 100. That's not bad. Location explored. We found some loot. Hooray. When that ship comes back, we'll pull the crew off of there. That will give us... Hooray, we found more loot. That will give us another 130 odd workers, which should get us past this this hump that we're in. So come on back, Fang. Come on back, Fang. You have no resources. That's fine. You are struggling to get to something. Yeah. No. Reasonable. Reasonable. That's fine. We can fix that. We can give you some more dumping designations. We can say come over here at height 13 and fill in everything up to there at least. I suppose you can do all of it at height 13, can't you? Oh, not that far. Not that far. You can go to like there. In fact, you might as well just... Yeah, whatever you can fill in down there, fill in down there. We're obviously going to need to bring that all in higher at some point, but for now, that'll do us. That'll do us. Still have a low supply of plastic. It is slowly starting to back up now, so that's looking like that's sorted. Iron ore is looking problematic, however. And you use servers for that. You have 95 in stock. You need 57, so we could do one more run. I'm thinking we probably do need a second belt, because that is clearly not keeping up with demand. 62, 65, 59, 56, no. Okay, so we're going to need a second belt over here. So we're going to come here. We're going to come from here. What's gone on there? I think I just... Yeah, I just put random luxury goods on there at some point and then never actually used it. Let's just get those out of there. And then we can just delete that. Right, the ship should be back now. Let's unload the crew. That's got us into a positive position in terms of that. We should hopefully be seeing medical supplies coming out quite frequently. We are. That is awesome. I don't think they've quite made it down here yet, but they are working on it. Although our request for them has gone down significantly. Does the request for them go up when there's a flu then? That's interesting. I didn't know that was a thing. So we never used that, so let's get rid of that. Unity that, and then this belt. And come to here. You can go up to height 4. I don't want you to join. I want you to go underneath. I want you to come up to here. And then over here. And then we're going to pop you there. We're going to copy that, pop that there. We're going to try Unity in that, and I think we do have enough for that, although this does seem to be filling back up now, but I guess that's not going to hurt. It is a bit more maintenance and everything we're going to need. And then over here, we're going to break that. We're going to Unity that. We're going to copy that. We're going to take this one down to there, and this one over to there. And then Unity, Unity, Unity. Okay. That's the iron problem sorted. It now matters if we can actually supply this fast enough to get the iron over there. That is the actual concern there now. Do trucks need to come down here at any point? Don't think so. Let's get rid of that. So they're filling in over here, which is great, but I probably want to focus on the other side. So let's not worry about any of that at the moment. You have almost finished digging this out. There's a little bit over there I'm going to want you to get, but then that sand mine is also done, which is great and problematic. We have a high supply of slag. Is that because these are all full? It's because these are all full. Okay, let's just add slag to the global dump for now. Although I'm going to pause the game as soon as I've done that, because I do not want trucks picking up from any of these. Do not export cargo. Do not export cargo. Do not export cargo. Do not export. I could have just checked to see. I could have just copied and pasted across, but yeah, don't export any of that. I want those to be full. This is the one at the end. You are being told to keep full. No, I want trucks to keep you full whenever you are not full. Okay, cool. That's that sorted. You're going to go there, get some of that slag, throw it into this massive pile over here. Excellent. How is dirt doing? It's getting there. We can start doing something over here. I promise I'm trying to get to trains. I really am. So we need to change. So we're going to pause the game. We're going to bring this up to here. We're going to change your area. I do not want you being anywhere near the dirt dumping. So let's get you out of there. There is something else there as well. Is that going to be one of these? You have both run out of stuff to mine. Where is your area? Ah, we actually ran out of limestone over there. That's very concerning. Okay, just carry on doing that. Okay, that's you done. And then the other one. No, you're over there. Are you both over there? Oh, there is only one, so that was just the after effects from that one. Okay, so now I can come over here. We can say dump over here, get rid of all of that. And we can say height 14 up to the edge, height 14 there, height 14 down to there. Oh yeah. Yeah, no, that's a problem. We are going to have to get rid of that at some point. But we could say 4 could come up to about here. I don't really want to dump around that until we've got that sorted. This is the... Oh, but we can't tell them to dig that now, so tell them to dump dirt there. Where are you dumping that dirt? Yeah, thank you. Don't do that. I might just need to bring that dirt area over slightly and put that back in to make that work. So dirt dumping at height 13 can go over to there. Okay. Okay, now you should be dumping dirt over there. Perfect. That's what I want you to do. Sweet. Right. You're struggling to find a destination you can reach. That's purely because I think you can get out of there, right? You're struggling to reach that for some reason. Okay, that's fine. Let's just do mining. Let's get rid of... Nope, other way. Other way. Don't put stuff down. Take it out. So there's a tiny little bit of sand over there. It's fine. Get rid of that. Whatever. There's a little bit more sand just there, maybe. So get that as well. And there's a little trace amounts up there, but I think we're probably done. There is a fair bit in those there walls, but I'm a bit terrified of touching those walls after we had that very near incident before. We have a high supply of fuel gas. Yes, we do, but we're full of diesel and hydrogen, so that's fine. We have a low supply of medical supplies. I'm hoping they will start stocking up soon. Let's just follow the medical belt down. Is it backing up at all? Not yet. Ah, but that one's only just filled up. This one's now working on it. Okay, that's fine. Low supply of uranium rods. That's fine. That's because you are still getting up to speed, but that should all be okay now. High supply of naphtha. Yep, but there's no point enabling more because you can't do anything anyway. And then mining designations outside of the thing. Right, I think we're in a good place. We are filling up with glass again. The dirt is being used. You've got yourself stuck. Nope, you're fine. We've had more people come in. I am going to leave the beacon going for a bit because we are going to need more workers. Hooray. Like if we wanted to... What are you trying to get to? And why do you think you can't get there? More to the point. I don't know, because you're an idiot? I think you're just an idiot. Don't worry about it. Yeah, good. 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 So we could start thinking about this as well, but we may as well get them finishing off this bit of slope down here before we do that. Okay, I think... Oh, and we also had a fair bit of food backing up last time. That seems to have calmed down slightly, so I'm not too worried about that. That could be because I changed some of the Unity things. We do have oodles of Unity coming in now, so let's go back in here. Let's definitely do maintenance. Let's do water. Let's do that. What does that do to our Unity? Does it leave it at 1.8? I'm happy with 1.8. I think we're okay. Okay, sweet. Right, let's deal with the frame rate. Let's come over here. So we were... Like at the beginning of the last video, we were going to talk about trains, and then everything went to pot, and we stopped talking about trains. But now we can talk about trains again. So we want to set up a station down here. I think I talked about the train engines we can create, either the diesel, steam, diesel, or hydrogen. And the fact we're going to do diesel. I did have a station down here, which was 1 diesel engine, so 1 fuel stop and 6 loading stations. But I said I wanted to plan to have something a bit different to that. I also had a three-way junction in here. So this track came down, hit a three-way junction, stuff came down to the station, and then we had a track that was ready to come out in this direction. But I've decided I don't want that. I want the track going straight forward, straight through here. I don't want it going straight across the sand. I think that's a bit stupid. So we've got a bit of terraforming work to get that done over there, but I think that makes more sense. So we're going to come over here. We're going to grab this track. We're going to bring that. Oh, hello. Hello, game. Where are you? We're just going to bring that over there. Now, this is going to cause issues for any large excavators that want to get in or out, but that's something we'll deal with at another point. I suppose they can still go all the way around to the edge there. So that's what we want there. We just want that going across there. So now we want to put in tracks coming down here, go into something. So if we go over to my blueprints, I have started making an I choose you blueprint folder with some of the stuff that I'm going to do. So we talked about the slopes being either 12 or 25 and the speed restrictions the trains have on those. So I showed you this little three-way up here. So let's just look at the blueprints that I've got so far. So that's this one. So let's bring this down here. So this is a three-way junction. It has the steep slopes and it has the steep curves. I'm assuming the curves have the same restrictions as either the 12 or the 25, as in if it's a green curve, there is no speed restriction. It can go the full speed if it's flat along there. If it's an orange curve, it's the same as a 12.5 slope, and if it's a red curve, it's the same as the 25% slope. That's what my assumption is. So this is all red. Red slopes, red curves, nice and compact. Beautifully compact, obviously quite small. We have an orange one. So this uses the shallower slopes and the shallower corners. So obviously it ends up being a little bit bigger, but that looks a little bit like that. I've then got a couple of three-way greens. So I've got this one, which is, yep, all greens. So it does have slopes, obviously, but it is the orange slopes, and then it has the green corners, so it can try and pick up as much speed as it can. I have a second three-way green, which is the same sort of thing. It's just that this one is a bit wider, this one is a bit taller. It's just two different ways I sort of ended up coming up with them. So I'm just going to get rid of these for the moment. So we need to put a three-way in up here. However, my blueprints are all based on them being on the ground, and I want the tracks there to stay raised. I don't want them to come down to go up again just to go in the three-way junction. So we're going to make our own junction up there. What else is in the blueprints? I did make a little four-way. I struggled with four-ways a bit. I was trying to think of a way, because what you ideally want is you don't want tracks sharing, don't want trains sharing track. So what you don't want is this. So this would be like quite a low traffic four-way one, because you wouldn't want a lot of stuff using it. Because if stuff is coming up from the south here, if we just put on our directions just so we can see a bit better. So it's coming up from the south, it can go straight through, that's fine. If it wants to go to the west, it has to go up here, hit the roundabout, go around the roundabout, come off at this junction and go across there. And then if it wants to go to the east, it has to go up the roundabout. It has to go all the way around the roundabout and then down the roundabout over there. So obviously at that point it hits this little this little crossing of tracks, this crossing of tracks, this crossing of tracks, this crossing of tracks. And if there is another train doing anything, it will not go up, won't finish going up this ramp to hit the roundabout. So this could cause quite a lot of congestion. In fact, no, if this one's going east, it should actually just do that. So I was wrong with that bit, but it should do that. But then if it's got two routes, is it clever enough to know it should do that? Or is it going to try and do something weird? Ideally, what you want is dedicated tracks for each direction. And I had a go at starting that, and then I sort of gave up, and I did this just as a temporary thing. So if I do come to a situation where I have a four-way track meeting, I can at least put this in so it's ready to go. Yeah, but I'm not overly keen, but it does look very pretty. I do really like how it looks. It's just not really what we ideally would want to be using. We also have stackers, so let's talk about stackers. Let's put some stations down. So I said I'm going to have one engine and 6 loading, but I want to plan for the future a little bit. So I want to plan for the possibility of having 2 engines and 8 carriages. at least if we've got it there, we don't have to build it, but if we've got it there, it's there ready if we want to expand. If I made it smaller and I didn't leave enough space either side, it's just going to be more of a hassle to try and sort out. So I've planned it like this, so that if people tell me that this is the way it should be done, or if this is better than 1 engine, 6 carriages, at least it's relatively easy for us to transition over. So these are all going to be inputs. They're all input belts. They're all connected to a balancer. That is purely to get the input split nicely across all 4, so they all load at the same rate. And then it goes into a 5 height lift. Same on this side. Obviously, we might want to put this one on a 4, but they might just join together into another balancer or something. I don't know. But anyway, that's the station. So if we have a track coming from down here, and the track goes choo 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 choo. That's weird. Why are you doing that? I don't know. So we have a track that comes down here, splits into those. Yeah, that hasn't connected, but let's just assume it's fine. So this one up here is loading iron, let's say. So we have a train come in, it sits here to load up on iron. The train is told as part of its route to not leave the station until it is full of iron, but we don't have a lot of iron coming in, so the train is just stuck there waiting. In the meantime, a second train comes to get iron. It hits this point where there is this little junction, so there'll be a no stopping section. It can't get into the station and it can't go past that point, so it's going to stop here waiting for that train to disappear so it can move in. In the meantime, we have copper in this station, and this station is filled with copper. It cannot have any more copper in it. Copper train comes along, choo 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 choo, can't get past the iron train, so it has to sit here, wait for this iron train to move, so this iron train can get in, so this copper train can get in. And we need several stations over here. We need limestone, sand, coal, copper, and iron. So we need 5 stations over here. So if we only have one line coming in, splitting into 5 stations, you can see that's going to cause some potential problems. Let's just get rid of all that. So what you have then is you have a stacker. So I do have a blueprint. I might try remaking this. So this is a stacker. This is something I didn't really know was a thing until I watched a couple of helpful sort of guides on getting started with trains. And what this does is it gives multiple waiting stops. So you would put a station here. And then as part of the route for the trains, when you set the routes, you would say the route goes over here. It goes to this station first. There are no restrictions. If the station's free and it can move on to the next part of track, it can just pass right through. So and then if we've got trains waiting in both of these, train comes along, choo 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 choo, stops here because it can't get in. Let's say this train that's come along in the middle row here is an iron train. Iron train is stuck there for ages. The copper train disappears. Choo choo choo. Next copper train comes along. It can't go onto the middle bit of track, so it goes onto one of the other parallel lines. Because the iron train is here and is not in the block in this junction at all, the copper train can come straight through and go into there. So this just gives the trains somewhere they can wait to go into the stations without blocking access for all of the other trains. And this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 trains, 10, 11. So we've got 11 waiting places for trains for these stations. So each of these stations could have at least 5 trains, 1 in the station, 5 in the stacker, waiting to go. The reason I might want to change that a little bit is just because that's a red stacker, because as you saw there, that's red. So that uses the red corners over here. Does that matter is the question. If we have a look at this one here, this is what the first sort of thing I was looking at. So this is 7 long. So 1 engine and 6 carriages. This is a 10 long one, which is why it's so much longer, because you do want to make sure that you have at least as much room as the trains are going to be in the stacker inside, in between the no stop zones. So it has to be at least that long. So I've made it at least that long with a few extra tiles either side just to make sure we've got enough room. If this was too short and the train couldn't go in there without going into the no stop zone, because there's no stopping zones there, there's no stopping zone there, so if it couldn't fit there, it would just end up stopping here anyway, and obviously we don't want that. So yeah, so this was going to be like an all-in-one stacker for all the stations. I've sort of changed over to having a stacker per pair of stations. But this one uses red corners, this one uses orange corners. So you can see that this does save a fair bit of space. If we roughly line that up there, so you've got like a full big tile and a bit of space that saves by using orange corners compared to red corners compared to red. Sorry, red corners compared to orange. There we go. Does that matter though? Is the question. Because when they come into the station, they're going to stop anyway. They're either going to stop in the station or they're going to stop here. So if they've got to slow down to come up here, yes, it's gonna. If they can go straight through into the station, it'd save a little bit of time, but I don't think it's that much of an issue. I really don't. So we're not going to worry too much about that. What we do want to do is get this lined up somewhere. So let's move this back a little bit. And then if we bring this in over to here. Thank you. Nope, just do that. Why did you do that? Get rid of that bit for whatever reason you've done that. And then this, we want to be on the sharp corners and we want you to join up here in the closest possible place. There. Okay. And then we want you. Nope, I want to cut you. We want to cut all of that. And we want this to go in pretty much. And then we could go right up to where the junction is. I can't really see a reason why not. So let's do that. Ignore collisions, please. Just pop you down. And then all the directions are still looking absolutely fantastic. Excellent. If you want to know how I build the stacker, so you've got a track going straight through like that. And then I would just say, this is where the beginning of the stacker is going to be. Let's come out at 1. You can see it puts the little lines on there to show you how much of a sort of radius you're taking. So that's 90 degrees. So come out at 45 degrees and then go perfectly straight all the way up there. And then you can just start bringing in your other tracks and just saying, where would you connect in that would look nice? So for this one, it'd probably be about there. And then just carrying on down. Your one will go probably to about there, and you can connect in. You had it. You had it. You had somewhere that was nice. There we go. Just like that, and then you just keep doing that, and then you can, once you've got one end done, you can copy and paste it on the other end, and then you have to faff around with changing the directions of all the tracks. But that's how I build them. Is that the best way of building them? I have no idea. Let's cut this and move this up for a second. As I said, I need at least 5 stations, which means we probably want to build 6 just so we can have 6. So we want this to go right up against there, and we want another one to go there. We'll have 6 stations just because it's symmetrical then, and that just pleases me. That pleases me. So let's just cut all of that, bring that down here for a moment. If we say they're roughly going to go there, we know we need the middle track to come in here. So we know we need this one to connect over here at a nice 90-degree angle. Now you can just sort of try and guess where it's going to be nice and try and get it in like that. What I've ended up doing was saying if we come over here at height 6, we build height 6 to there. And then we can say from, copy that please. From that point, we know we need to go down to, wrong button. From that point, we need to go down to ground level. Now, the way the ramps work can be a bit interesting. So if you are going completely horizontal compared to the grid or completely vertical compared to the grid, you can slope. You cannot slope on any curve, however. So if I put a bit of a curve on this, you can see there is a bit of a slope there, but only when it's gone around 1/4 radii. There are certain turns that it will not do that with, where it won't go down at all. So it does take a little bit of finagling. In this instance, we do want to have a 30-degree turn radius maximum, and we want a 12-degree slope because we do want trains to come down here as fast as possible. And we want you to go down, we want you to take a 90-degree turn and then go straight. So what we want to see is probably you not really listening to me. I'd like you to be flat before you actually hit the ground, because otherwise it's going to be a problem. So maybe if we come out 1, you probably, if we go straight there, you probably can't go down. No. So if we go out another, so that'll be 45 degrees. That'll be 22.5. This one can probably go down. In fact, if this is going, yeah, this is going, this will be traffic coming out. So actually it doesn't matter if this one slopes quite steeply. So this can come down to here. And then we can complete the rest of the turn down to there. I'm sure I had this looking nicer previously. But hey-ho. So then if we copy that, we can put this over here, which would go about here, and say, boop, job done. Doesn't matter if it's steep. Does matter if the corners. It doesn't matter if it's steep because they're going downhill, so they will keep going at that speed regardless. We do care about it leaving at a higher, a steeper slope though, so we'll worry about that in a minute. So we are going to want a track that comes up from here. So it's probably not going to be here, but let's just bring this up to, I think it's hit a pillar, but that's absolutely fine. We don't really care too much. So in this instance, we want to go from a flat, or a straight, sorry, into a curve and end up at 6. This one I would like to be locked to oh, I think that was it. I think you are at height 6 there. Let's have a little look. If we copy you, pop you in here. No, you're not at height 6. Okay. Now, again, there are probably nicer ways of doing this. And like I say, I'm sure this was looking a lot nicer before. I'm not sure why it is looking a bit more jankified now. See, that. Cannot find valid pillars placement for some reason. That's a different thing entirely. Why can't you find a valid pillars placement is an interesting question. So yeah, I don't want you going up. So maybe we'll just have to make this a bit janky like the other one was. So if we just come across at a 45 degree, straight up to 6, which is there, and then complete the turn like that. And if we copy that, and this one isn't really going to be used for a while, if we pop that in there, that should be absolutely fine, and then we can get rid of that. Okay. So those are those two junctions out. What we also want is stuff from this direction to be able to join onto this, and stuff that's coming up here. More importantly for us, stuff that's coming up here to be able to join onto this track. That's quite important for us. Now, we know that is basically the minimum distance we can get up to height 6, but we don't need to get to height 6 straight away, do we? We need to get... well, no height at all necessarily. But I think... Hang on a second. Let's have a little bit of experimentation here. So this is some nice empty track. So if we build track as in that empty as in there's no pillars on this line here. So I know that ground level trains can get underneath a height 6. Height 1 can get underneath a height 6. Height 2 can get underneath a height 6. Height 3 can get underneath a height 6. Height 4 cannot get underneath a height 6. It needs to drop down to height 3. So if we stay at height 3, we know we can get underneath there. So if we do that turn again, up to height 3, which is there, then we can start bringing this out, bringing this through here, but there's a pillar in the way, which is one of you. So the pillars on the trains you can actually modify quite easily, which is beautiful. So So you can add in new pillars, and then when there is enough support, you can delete the existing pillars. So I think it was if we're there, no, put one in there. Let's try that. Yeah, perfect. Obviously, that's a lot of pillars there, but we can always tidy that up another point. So at this point, we can bring you around to here. Bring you up to height 6, because you'll need to be height 6 to join in with the rest of the track, which is going to be to about there. And then I want you to join in to here. So if we go to there, pop, there is a nice curve that gets us, in a slightly janky way, up at a gentle slope with gentle curves at height 6. Now, if it's going up curves, does it matter if the up slope, does it matter if the curves are gentle? I don't really know. I don't really know. And then last thing we need, so we've got traffic that can come up here and go east, and it can go west. Traffic coming in can go east and it can go south. What are we missing? Traffic coming from the east joining in this one here. So similar thing. We want to come off at some point. Let's just say here. Take off at that 45 degree. Go down to height 3, which is there. And then we want to see if we can fit around here. I'm trying to get it so none of those lines. That's it. So there's only one line. The lines aren't too close together, is what I'm trying to get at. I'd like the curve to be as continuous as possible. And then at this point, you can come down to height 1. Can this curve do it? No, it can't. So we would have to come down to the next sort of curve length. Or curve radii, and then we can come down here and connect you in about there. Perfect. So it's not amazingly pretty, but it does the job, and it's all nice and gentle. Now, once this track goes through here, big diggers can't come underneath those because the mega excavators need height 7, so we'll have to dig them a little, not quite a tunnel, but like a little divot to get underneath those. But that's something we can worry about at another point. Okay, so we've got that, we've got that, we've got that. We need you to connect to this, which you may as well do at a nice gentle curve. We can see we're going to have to get rid of a bit of that. You are going to connect to exactly the same place. Your stations are all connected. What we need then is you to come out of here, and we definitely want this to be a nice, gentle curve. So I want to bring you probably to here. And let's just bring you to like there. And if I do that, yes. So I can bring you to about there. And then down to there. And then hopefully, it's not overly nice. What about there? Yeah, that's better. I like that. So then we have traffic going out. So we also need to connect you into this, which you can do absolutely nowhere. There. We need you to connect into this, which you can do there. You can do there. You can do there. You can do there. So now we have traffic going out of the stations for all the trains, and that traffic can then go in either direction. I really don't really like that. I've definitely had that nicer before when I was playing around with it, but it is what it is. It is what it is. Okay, that's cool. So we just start getting all this built. To get all that built, we're going to need, probably quite a lot of people, although we do now have 620 workers. So let's temporarily pause that again. We did pause a lot of stuff, didn't we? But this does seem to be running quite nicely, and that water isn't filling up. So I think it's time for us to say we can now delete all of this. Not all of this. We need some of the pipes to stay. We don't need any of this. This can all go. This can go. Wait, where does your... Oh, it goes there and then it goes nowhere. So we are going to need to worry about that at some point. Right now, though, we don't need that. We don't need that, or that, or that, or that, or that. We don't need these. We do need these brine pipes here. So we just need to be a little bit careful that we don't delete the 2 brine pipes which carry on over there. So what else can we get rid of down here that isn't connected to those? We can get rid of that, 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 and that one there. And whatever that is there. And you, and you, and you, and you, and you. And all of you. Not all of you, because we need to keep some of those water pipes as well. I don't know if that's one of the ones we need to keep. We can get rid of you, we can get rid of you, we can get rid of you, and you, and you. So we don't need that water pipe, so that can go. You can go, you can go. I'm not going to delete the storages yet, because obviously we might need to actually think about emptying those nicely. You can go, you can go, you can go, you can go. And then you, and all of you, and you, and you, and you, and you, and you. Yeah, you can all go. I'm quite comfortable that you can all go, and you can go, and you can go, and you, and you, and you. And you, 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 and all of that, and all of that, and that eventually, but we'll probably need to empty that of water manually. All of you can go, all of you can go, and you can go. And then you can all go, but not that brine pipe that I went over. Okay, so we need to keep these 2 water pipes, which don't connect to any of those balancers, so we don't need you and we don't need you. Although you were connected upwards to that. Yeah, that's because it was the water that's coming out from there, so that's fine. So we don't need you, we don't need that input. What we do want to do is probably just connect this water to the output pipe at some point, which probably means we don't need you either. Or you? No, we don't need you. Okay, so I think that is pretty much all of it done, and I think I've managed to avoid touching that pipe, which is just wonderful. Wonderful! You are struggling to find a destination you can reach. Where are you trying to reach? Yep, you can't. It's true, you can't. And I can't really fix that easily. I could, I suppose, just put a bucket down here and connect it up. It's not a terrible solution, is it? It would stop that message coming up. Nope. I wanted that. I wanted to turn off... I turned off the magnet at some point. So you can come up to here. I can build you, I can build you, and then I can turn off your imports and exports, and then you I want to be kept full, and then you can feed, well, both of them. You need to be connected to both of them. That's nicer. Cool. That should stop that message. Sweet. That's probably all of them. Yep. We have a low supply of medical supplies, but hopefully we should start seeing this belt starting to back up now. I'm really hoping. No, not yet. Yeah, with total settlement amount of 29. We're making more than that. So I don't know. I don't know why that hasn't quite got there yet, but it's fine, it's fine. So you have finished dumping water all down there. You are busy digging that out. What I want to do now is I want to get you... I want to edit your area. I'm just going to make you a new rectangle because I think that's disgusting. We're going to give you a new rectangle, which is just going to be here. I want you just to flatten this little weird thing here that we've somehow ended up with. Just go and do that. Just go and do that because it's stupid and I don't like it. They're still filling that with all of the rock and the Slag, that's great. You are still digging out these weird little bits, but you are almost done. That will be the end of that sand mine. We've got lots of workers. What did we pause? We paused you. Haha, and we have no uranium. You definitely need to go. You, we didn't pause. You, we didn't pause. You, we did. Let's unpause you. Let's unpause you, because we definitely want those luxury goods coming back in. In terms of luxury goods, we need 21. You make 16 each. We've got 32, so we should have plenty of that. Why are you not going off and doing that? Because that's already full. That's absolutely fine. We paused you. Let's unpause you just in case, because we are also about to run out of sand entirely, so that's a problem. Let's unpause you because we're out of sour water. And we could do with that going into our farms, although we're okay for fertilizer at the moment, but I'd like to just have that little bit extra coming in. You have nothing to mine because you have done that. Excellent. Thank you for that. You may now come back over to here and continue doing that. Well, hang on. Yeah, you may as well. Why not? We might end up filling it back in at some point, but that'll do for now. And then in terms of the dirt, we can come over here. We can get rid of that now, and we can say that this is not a slope. This is going up. This can now be filled in up to there. You can be filled in up to there. And let's get rid of all that, because I think I did something a bit odd. And let's also get rid of that. What are you doing there? Filling up to 3. Yeah, you shouldn't do it anyway, but let's just take it off to be sure. Cool, so now they've got somewhere to go and dump all that dirt over there to finish off that slope. We need to put down so many concrete things. I think I paused all the concrete production, didn't I? Yep, let's unpause all of that. Let's get that back up and running. We're also going to need quite a lot of construction parts. Let's unpause all of our construction parts. I'm going to unpause that as well. We don't need that at the moment, but let's get it unpaused. Not too worried about the vehicle parts, not too worried about research, so I am just going to leave those paused for the moment. Everything else is looking quite good. We do need servers unpaused, because without servers we can't fuel our iron empire. The iron bucket is full. That is keeping full. So I think that's keeping up with demand quite nicely. They have got rid of almost all of this. Let's unpause those just until we decide what we're going to do with that. How we get those mox rods in there when that is full is an interesting, or those uranium rods I should say, when that's full is an interesting question. We have a few little bits here that we missed, so we can get rid of those, and we can get rid of that pipe, and we can get rid of that. That I'm pretty sure we've told to delete, but it hasn't done it yet. We can get rid of that, we can get rid of that, we can get rid of that. And we can get rid of those little chunks there. So that's everything we can delete. You have 11 spent fuel in you. You are being told to empty all spent fuel. Where do you take the spent fuel? You just take it there. I don't really have an easy way of belting it into there, do I? And I don't know how much that stores. And you're already being told to empty. It's just because you don't have... If I tell you to export with a high priority, and if I tell this to do the same thing, you've got spent mox, you don't have a lot of spent mox. So if I tell you to empty, and I tell you to do that with a super high priority, and I do the same thing over here, empty the fission product with a super high priority, and then the plutonium we don't have any of, so we can just delete that. That's fine. There might be the... No, we don't have any plutonium at all. That's excellent. That's excellent. So they will slowly start emptying those, causing them probably a mild radiation spike while they're ferrying some of it around, but that's fine. Let's just get it gone. Let's get it gone and we don't have to worry about it. Over here, how are we doing? We are doing 170 waste. We can deal with 320, so that's fine. Biomass has almost entirely filled up. Biomass comes down here, so we can not copy. We can unity that, and that. That'll get some more biomass processing. turning it into a bit more compost. Beyond that, there's not a lot we can do. Not a lot we can do with the biomass, really. We can upgrade those to mixers too. Okay, that's interesting. Let's upgrade one of those to a mixer too. So we do have a bit of capacity there still, so that's good. That's good. All right, everything else looks hunky-dory. Sweet. This is being slowly emptied. That is not being emptied, which is slightly concerning to me. That's probably because this one is being told to completely empty it. So if we just bring that one up, the trucks will bring that stuff over. We have 20 spent mocks to bring over. They'll bring that over there. That uranium is nearly full. We need to decide where we're going to put that. And, well, we have a good... Don't deliver or export from there. I saw that. I saw that. Don't. This is no longer needed, so we can get rid of that. Obviously, we could look at sorting these pipes out and making them a bit neater. In particular, you two. So let's look at doing that now. I want to come one further over at height 5. I want you to come... Oh, it's right in the middle of that. So I'm not going to do that quite yet. I need that to be gone. Let's get rid of that. In fact, did we actually... I think I got myself distracted, haven't I? We were looking at other stuff. We got some refugees. Hooray. We were looking at this stuff down... Oh, yeah. No, we decided we'd finished planning. Ah, that's what I need to do. One thing I need to do is that doesn't need to be all the way down there. So if we cut this, we could quite easily move... Let's just get rid of that for a second. Move this up significantly closer to here. So the stations, one, aren't quite as far away, and we don't need to worry about... I can't tell. Oh, no, that's probably fine. About trucks or pipe or belts or anything having to come down quite as far. So if we put you... Oh, that terrain is too high there for that. That's sad. Where can you go? Well, we could just... If we just put that there... we do have limestone coming in from other places, so we could just say... the flattenator of speed. You are now going to go over here. And you are going to just flatten a little bit. Nope, you're not going to do that. You are going to flatten. Flatten, there we go. You're going to flatten. That's probably too much. Just a little bit of this land here. So we can try and fit that in. In the meantime, we don't need that. We don't need that. We do need you, and if we have a look at building a train, which is 1 diesel locomotive, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, it is too long for the depot, so we are going to need, go away, a train depot extension to go there. So we know we need at least this. Might as well start building it, right? Should we? I don't know, maybe. How long is it going to take? I don't know if I want to build tracks like that, because I think that looks a bit crap, but... Well, we can build pause. We can definitely unpause like all of that. Well, no, in fact, not all of that. I don't really need all of these. I think one on this side and one on this side, yes. I don't think I need you necessarily. Yep, beautiful. It's definitely connected. So we could unpause that, unpause that. We probably do want that. I might try and fix that afterwards. But then is there a lot I can do about it? Do you know what? Screw it. Let's just build it. Let's build all of that. Let's start building our first actual bits of train track. At this point, actually, stop that. Thank you. We are going to want to raise this bit up here to a 6, possibly. It's a fairly high traffic area, but if we come over here and come down here, how much traffic needs to get in the middle there? Probably not a lot. There's not a lot that's going to use the crossing, I would imagine. Oh, that's the other thing I was thinking. Well, yeah, this is actually something I noticed about 50 videos ago. We were never putting water into here. So this has been producing crappy amounts of saplings. We are out of saplings, and something I never thought I would say. The reason that needs to be addressed is because I want to get rid of all of these trees. I want to remove that from our tree farming enterprise. So I want a little station up here. We may as well, the slag that's up here that gets exported and the gold that's up here that gets carried down, we may as well get a train doing that for us, right? There's also this here, so there's also sand potentially to be brought down from there at some point. So I don't want that doing that anymore. So I want to edit the designation, and I want to get rid of all of that, and I want to get rid of all of that, and I want to get rid of... I was going to sneeze because I am allergic to getting rid of tree harvesting designations or tree planting designations. I need to then edit your area. I'm just going to put a new rectangle in, and I want you just to do like all of like that. And then with that done, I want to come over here and I want to say edit designation again, and we're just going to put in a bunch more trees on this side. And this might be where we start thinking, do we want to come and bring this to a lower level? I don't know. What I do want to do then is come over here. I don't want to do that. I want to go forestry, tree harvesting, and I want to say get rid of all that, and get rid of all that, and get rid of all that. So wherever our tree harvesters are, they might run all the way over here from Uranium Island, which is no longer an island, to help do that, but that's fine. But I want that empty. I want the ability to get trains up and down there at some point. Because we also have rock and dirt that we could do with getting rid of in a nicer way so trucks aren't doing it all the time. So yeah, so that's a good little place for a station as well, I think. And that might just be we put like one train in there to do all of that. We actually have our first bits of track. How exciting is that? My word, that is amazing. Look at our little crossing. Oh, I used the crossing. You little legend. You little legend. Come here, you. You little legend. Ah, you are forever enshrined for being one of the first trucks to use the crossing. Even though there are no trains on it, I don't care. You're a little legend. Right. So dirt dumping looks like it is pretty much done all the way up there. That's beautiful. You look like you are done there. So we need to give the old iron crew something to do. Because I need to decide exactly how these two are going to mesh together. The old iron crew actually needs to come up here and sort this out. So what we need here is a level and designation. That's what we need. We need a level and designation. And we need to say that we are going to accept this slope is what it is. So we want to cut into there, up to that point, up to there. I do not want you filling in any of that, so don't do that, thank you. And I don't want you going higher and filling in that, just do that for now. I am going to want you to fill in that little bit there, I suppose. So you may as well do that. I'm not so fussed if there are bits of rock around here. We will deal with that as it comes. Don't do that bit though, because that is part of the slope. That is part of the slope. Oh, that's okay, yeah, because that is 29. So in fact, you can also do that. No, because that's gone flat. So hang on a second, get rid of all that. Don't do that. I want you to be the same as this slope, which is like that, right? Yeah, I want you to be like that. So actually, if you do need to fill to get up to that point, that's fine. Again, we might come back and fix it being rock later on, but for now, whatever. So from down here, if we say we want 14 up to 29, up to like at least there, I guess. And we might want to bring that slope down a bit more. To like here, I don't know. It's going to start getting quite messy, really. And then over here, we want to come down one. We want height 29 to fill in all of that. And I do not want you to dig any of that up. So we did not want a leveling designation there. We wanted a dumping designation at height 29. You're on a slope at height 29. Thank you. All the way over there. Oh, no, you're doing it again. At height 29, over all of that, and over all of that, and probably up to there-ish. I know, because that's when we decide, yeah, maybe not any of that, actually. Probably up to there is fine, and then we need to decide how this sort of corner is going to join in. But for right now, that'll do. You've got a fair bit of work cut out for you there, my little truckadoodles. Nope, that did need to be a leveling designation. So this will take up to about here. Okay, well, good luck, have fun. We're going to need so much rock to do that. You have finished down there, which is fine, because you are now going to be assigned to this. And you have the ability to dump rock and dirt, rock and waste, sorry, that's absolutely fine. We don't really have any waste. You'll deal with it. Cool, how did that affect our rail store? It absolutely destroyed it. Well, that's to be expected. How much rail did we get put down? Not a lot. Not a lot is the answer. So I think most of the rails being delivered is gravel we're struggling with, which is fine. So what we probably want is to set up like a dedicated little gravel section. We do have gravel being made down here. We've got a very big rock box there, which goes into these to make gravel. Yeah, so we're already making 2 gravel, which gets turned into sand. In theory, though, that is as much. That should be everything we're doing. I think. Okay, let's delete that one. That's been there for so long. I think I'm just going to set up a new little one just over. Where would be a good place for it? Just over here, maybe? Just pop that one down there. And then we want a big old rock mixing thing. Oh, I can't see one offhand. One of you. Crusher? Crusher. So let's put maybe even 2 of you down. We'll see how the load copes with it. We want to connect you 2 together with a U-shaped conveyor. You are going to not be doing that. You are going to be doing rock to gravel. Where else can we get gravel from? Not a lot of places. That's about it. Cool. So I want you to be kept full at all times. You are going to be making gravel, so you need a box to go into. Let's pop that there. You're going to go to there. You are going to be gravel. Do not keep you full, just use what you've got. And then let's unity all of that. So the first place they should always be taking rock now is down there. In fact, I'm going to make that an even bigger one. I think I I'm not sure if I did or if I... Yeah, I haven't even been... Yep, because I want to have lots and lots of rock in there. I want it making lots and lots of gravel. And if we see this is basically getting filled up nicely. Unfortunately, it's going to take away from the rock being dumped down here, but it is what it is. It is what it is. The gravel is what's really holding us up, and we're going to need a lot of it. We're going to need so much. So much, in fact, I'm thinking that probably won't be enough. We definitely want to upgrade that, I think. And I might even... I didn't realize the F was still on there. Fine, whatever. I might even do that just so we can try and get as much gravel made as quickly as possible, really. Cool. All right, how are we doing for time? Hour 20. Time to finish up. Sweet. So I've not been paying attention to this. You have probably been finished for some time, which means I think we're done. I do not think we can safely get any more out of there. I think it's going to start causing problems. So I'm going to call that mine done. So how many do you have on you? You have got 4 tiny excavators, 2 trucks, and a few of those. So I'm just going to go and stick you onto this one here. And then we'll just give you, what's it like, 1, 2, 3, 4, something like that. Sweet. I don't know if... Well, the mega excavator, yeah, because it's a diesel and a thingy. That's fine, so you can use those trucks. Cool. And that'll just get them a bit of help getting rid of some of that. They've started filling in from this end. That is so much rock that is needed. I can't begin to fathom how long that's going to take. But hey-ho. I love that they find these extra little paths every now and then. And it's like, I'm going to use that path. That's the one I'm going to use, matey. Yep, so they're both running. They're making gravel. They are taking the gravel over for the train tracks. That's beautiful to see. Beautiful to see. Sour water's fine. We are running. I should have thought about that ages ago. Let's stop dumping slag. We want slag to come in here. That's looking a little bit emptier, but that's not the end of the world, I suppose. You're doing fine. You're still making enough sand. We are getting enough iron ore coming in. We are full of luxury parts. This belt is backing up. That's good. We've got a full thing of limestone there. We've got a full thing of sulfur there. It's deeply concerning we have no uranium ore. Did I pause the uranium mine? That seems like that would have been very foolish. The uranium mine is not paused. Did I turn it down? I suppose we are using twice as much now. So let's just think about this a second. So the uranium ore comes over here. So we are using, oh yeah, we're using 72 plus 72. And the uranium mine makes 72. Oop, that needs to make double that. Okay, so that's a problem. That's a problem that could come to bite us in the bum quite soon. Hopefully. Yeah, I think we are filled. Yeah, we're filled with uranium rods. So it's not something that's going to destroy us right now. We're okay. Over here, you still have spent fuel in you. Why? Why are you not putting it in there? You accept imports. You accept outports, and you are being told to empty. And you've got 20 mocks. But you're all told to do it at export 1, which I thought meant trucks would come over there regardless of how much they could actually pick up. The flattenator of speed has ran out of things to mine. What were you doing? You were just flattening over there. Okay, so let's just see. Whoop. Try that again. That looks better. So if we pop... What are you colliding with? Terrain too high. What terrain? Terrain too high. But it's all flat. I cannot see. Oh, it's because I've cut... What is this? Just 2 random pieces of track. That makes me think that there are 2 random pieces of track missing from somewhere else that I have ended up cutting by accident. Oops. So if we try that again, they are going to go there. Perfect. Perfect. Right. Let's unpause all of that. Except, don't unpause all of that. Don't need you, or you. Don't need any of those built. Because we're only going to have a 1 and 6, so that's fine. This has been built. So we need to start thinking about how we are going to get the materials we need up there for trains. So we need diesel, vehicle parts, and steel. That's a problem. That's a problem and a half, isn't it? How's our steel doing? It's going down. You may be surprised to learn our steel is going down. I did say before, I think it's time we start thinking about building this one. Almost certainly when it comes to doing trains, we'll do that. You have a high supply of depleted uranium. That is a surprise to no one. But it is also 1 hour, 26 minutes since I started recording, so I need to start thinking about finishing it up. So, yeah. That's something for us to fix next time really, really quickly. Water resource getting low. You can just go and join in with the No, don't go and join in with the limestone mining. I want you to come over here and join in with this, please. I'd like that to be done faster. Thank you. Low supply of uranium ore is hopefully going to be fixed very soon. Hopefully. I mean, the fact we're full of fuel and these make... Hello. These use the uranium ore to make yellow cake. The yellow cake goes into here to make the enriched uranium. The enriched uranium goes in here to make the uranium rods. Hopefully means that we are not... that can start backing up a bit. And it's not a concern that we have literally none in stock. Hopefully. This should be automatically power regulating, so it isn't using the full 2 uranium rods every 60 seconds. But I guess we'll find out. We do have a lot in there. So if we could find a way of squeezing those in, that will supplant? Whatever the word is. That'll add to the resources we have available there. Okay, yeah, cool. Awesome. Sweet. That is nearly gone. It does have retired waste in. I guess they can stick that in there. I don't know if they can just put retired waste there. Maybe we can say temporary belt, transport, flat conveyor. Height 5. And we can just get that retired waste out of there on that belt. That'll solve that little problem. We also have to get rid of this. That should be being emptied. That should be being emptied. Oh, hold on a second. Where does that get emptied now? Because we did have a little box down here for it, didn't we? But then we got rid of that. This belt's looking incredibly full. So we need to look at that next time as well. In fact, this is looking incredibly full. So we need to do quite a few things. Medical still isn't backing up at all, which I'm finding concerning. We should be making significantly more than we're using, although we are using 62 now. We are out of housing, so well, that is already paused. Huh. Yeah, so we need to think about why medical isn't going all that fast. We should be making 48. You don't have enough medical 2, you're saying. Medical 2 doesn't have enough medical, but it is running. So that looks like that should be fine. You definitely were waiting for a time. You look like you might be waiting for antibiotics. You need 24 antibiotics, which come from here. You only make 16 antibiotics. I'm going to do that. I'm going to do that. So I don't think that's helping the situation. So yeah, we need to think about that. We got a high supply of fuel gas, high supply of naphtha, high supply of everything. It's not the end of the world. I am okay with that. And then yeah, we need to deal with the high supply of broken glass. We need to get that into the other glass factory, although we are full of glass, so there's just not a lot we can do with it apart from storing it up. But that's just not helping because the glass can't get through, nothing else can move. Oh. Do we just bin it? We can bin at least one of them, right? That'll get some of the glass off there, because this is backing up purely because of that. I don't think there's a lot else we can do with broken glass, right? You can compress it. Maybe we do that. Just so it takes up less space as well. I don't know. We need to think what we're going to do with broken glass. Yeah. Anyway, cool. Hour and a half now. Warble, 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 warble. That's what I've been doing. Sweet. Well, I hope you are continuing to enjoy Captain of Industry. Productive video, lots of terraforming. Look at how much space we've got here now for trucks to get past. Look how much of the space they are utilizing. Look how much of it's been driven on. We are filling in this mine slowly but surely. We have got our own little gravel repository. Although we're using the gravel as fast as we can make it. We should hopefully be making more rail parts. Hello, where are you? Over here. Does that use gravel? No, that uses steel. Okay, so that's going to be having an impact on our steel at some point. We probably need to get this up and running. We need to make some trains. There are some forestry designations outside of forestry. I can wait till next time as well. We are cutting down all of these trees at some point, so we can start thinking about getting a little train station up here, so we can start getting the rock, the dirt, the gold bars and the slag and possibly sand at some point out of there via train. Although saying that, there's still a fair bit of gold there. Yep, that's probably still worthwhile. So we're going to want a little junction like here to take that up there. We're going to want a junction around here so we can come down here and go up there. Oh, it's all very exciting. I cannot wait to get trains. We are one step closer to getting trains. You have got yourself stuck. I will recover you, because I don't want to start my next video by saying that you're an idiot. You idiot. Sweet. I hope you're enjoying it. If you are, hit the like button, comment, subscribe, all those amazing things. I will see you next time, and as always, thank you so very, very much for joining me.